Hi Tim, we're here up in a room that I only discovered existed last night.
Okay.
And here at Nonlinear Labs. Now we've seen the instrument before, and we know that it's a really interesting concept because it has essentially a very basic, what seems to be a very basic FM engine. But actually, you've done some. You're a player, and you've got some more sounds to show us. Because I'm just really interested to hear more sounds from it. Really.
Okay. So I'll play you some.
So it's got a new layer feature, hasn't it, as well?
Yes, exactly. And I would, let me see. Yeah, I would first show you the two components of these layers. So this is the first one. Yeah, I could, for example, this is the filter, and I open the filter. Here it's without a kind of chorus effect. With chorus effect. So this is the first layer I used, and now I show you the second one. And here I have the modulation in the two pedals down here. And now I combine the two layers. I unmute the first one.
I mean, again, it's just it's all about high resolution, high quality, and,
yes.
Those interoperations between the carrier and the operator. Right?
Yes, it's. I think it's not as much classic FM synthesis, but because we have just two sine waves, two sine oscillators, but those can be highly modified.
It just feels almost impossible that you can make sounds like this from it. I mean, and I think that's part of the thing, isn't it? Because FM is often thought of as only capable of this or this or this, but this shows you that it's much, much deeper when you can get.
Yeah. I think the point is that you have this section with these oscillators, but then we have the comp filter, and so there comes some physical modeling quality in.
Right.
So we have an exciter and a resonator, and then we have all these feedback possibilities, and so all of a sudden it becomes a much more complex construction. And I think, and now we have the dual mode, so we have two on top of each other, and this.
Is there a limit to the polyphony when you're doing a dual mode?
I mean, and we have a 24 voice polyphony right now, so it's exactly divided into 12.
Right, so it's not dynamic; it's just whatever.
Yeah, no.
Oh well, come on, let's have another sound.
Okay,
that was lovely.
okay.
So, do you sound design for it yourself?
I do a lot of sound design for myself in this case, yes, but sometimes we have so many great people around us, so sometimes I'm more a musician here, so I'm not a direct sound designer, but I'm very creative in using the stuff that we have and making something.
How do you find it to work with then, in terms of sound design? Is it familiar enough for you to be able to get where you need to go?
Yeah, I think it's pretty intuitive as soon as you get into it, you know. So the point is, of course, if you have a Moog or a sequential, you have all these knobs, and it's a direct thing, but it's not really less direct because you have access to every parameter, and you can see always the exact amount here, you know. It's always reflecting what you really have.
And then you've got the editor on screen that you can actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and then we have everything here on the screen. So yeah.
Okay, so anyway, I sidetracked you. Apologies.
Okay. So what could be... I braved a few pads first again.
Nice, and there's obviously some effects going on.
Yeah, of course, we have a really high quality effect section here. And let me see, I found, if I take other stuff. What was this? Ah, that's interesting too.
That's a very broad gesture. Yeah, I mean, because that's the other thing I seem to remember from the other presentations we've done. The resolution is very much higher in terms of control, is it not? That so velocity is not 127 steps; it's a lot more. Right?
Yes, I'm not the one who can tell you, but it's in the thousands, you know.
Right.
So let me see. There's something. I think that was cool. Let me see. Here, I have a pad. Now it's a split sound. I have a pad in the right hand, and some kind of. We call this fell bell. it's like a percussion instrument. It reminds me of the desert, and it has this. And now. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool.
And this one, I actually used this in a piece of mine. It has a kind of string patch and some kind of brass instrument that doesn't exist, but it sounds pretty natural. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm trying to imagine the scene. What did you use? What were you thinking of when you used that in your composition? Did you have a visual in mind?
Well, actually, this is actually really a piece I wrote for Lyle Mace, the keyboardist. It's called Lyle Travels.
Okay.
It's on my next album, and I actually was thinking of Lyle in this moment. It was I wrote it directly a few days after he died.
Right. So
And
it's a
it was-
tribute. Oh,
it's
that's
a
nice.
tribute, and it's like thinking of him from the heart.
Oh, that's nice. Excellent. I mean, these do sound lovely, and it definitely kind of because the other thing that we've forgotten about is obviously this now has MIDI because all the controversy to begin with.
Yes.
How can it not have MIDI? Now it has MIDI,
It has MIDI now.
and there's an always-on recorder, isn't there, as well, which you can just
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the MIDI function, it has now full MIDI functionality. I'm already using this daily in my daily setup. And it has this new recording facility that you can... so in the moment you turn your machine on, it starts recording, and it will all be there during one day. And if you turn it off, then it will be erased. But for example, if you put your machine on at 9 and at 11 you had some really cool idea with some great sound, and you keep going, and then at some point you remember, oh, what did I do there? That was a cool sound. You can go back in the timeline and see exactly in the recording which sound you used, and you can play it back, and you could download it and put it in your production.
Ah, okay, cool. Yeah. Any more sounds on the go, or is
I can.
That'd be nice. Thank you.
Let me see. This one. This is interesting. This is kind of a guitar sound. And there's a pad sound behind, and when I was recording this, I played it in 2 tracks. I made guitar and a pad, and for live I made it like this. I put only the sustain pedal on the pad,
Okay,
and I made a natural release on the guitar, so that the guitar is not... Without pedal it sounds like this. And now I add the pad sound, and I keep it down as long as the harmony is the same, and in 1 second there we have a pad sound that stays behind. Can we hear it? Yeah.
Lovely. So it feels like, there's a lot of touch sensitivity there.
Excuse me?
A lot of sensitivity in the way that you dynamics that we try to play. Tim, thank you.
You're welcome.
There was no other reason. It's just I wanted to hear what it sounded like. I haven't heard it for a while, but thank you very much.
Thank you for passing by. Okay.